All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Dreamstruck. Tonight's topic is Stop Wasting Time. And I am coming to you live from my car because I do live a busy life, as do most of you. And so to start us out, I want you guys to drop a one in the comments if you consider yourself busy. Drop a one in the comments if you consider yourself busy. And Shannon already without hesitation, and here comes Heather and all the other people. Yes, I do consider myself very busy. However, I've learned how to balance it, and so have you guys, and so have all of us as panelists. And so we've worked really hard this week on coming up with our top 10 time saving tips for you guys. And I'm going to tell you straight up, it was a challenge to narrow it down to 10 because the panelists had just such incredible ideas that they were throwing out in the chat that I think we were up to like 25 to 30, and I narrowed it down to 10 just for the sake of 10 being such a great number. And so that's what we're going to share with you guys tonight. But I am leading tonight because this is something that I am super passionate about. Everyone has their story. I'm going to tell you super fast about mine. I did build my business while being an elementary teacher. If you're not muted, if you could mute yourself, that would be amazing. I was an elementary teacher and had very small children when I joined Cincy. I had a 3-year-old and an 8-week-old and a full-time elementary teaching job. But I knew that this business had potential, and so I just had to get creative with it, right? And so that is what we are here to help you guys with tonight. So I have point number one, or tip number one, and we're going to go through 10 with you guys as fast as we can. We want y'all to participate in the chat, ask questions, give us your excuses. We totally get it. We're here for that. We're going to help you guys work through that. But we also want to see in the chat what your time management tips are, because you have something to share with us and all of each other as well. But number one is to do your IPAs. IPA equals income producing activities before the busy work. What does that mean? That means, yes, you saw this really cute idea that so-and-so is doing, but you haven't placed an order. You haven't gathered things up to place your order, or you haven't done your follow-up, or you haven't labeled your product that's about to go out, or something like that. You haven't booked parties. You haven't set up your parties. Whatever that is, your IPAs, your income producing activities, come before the busy work. They come before the cutesy. They come before the fluff. A lot of times it is those things that completely distract us from doing what we know we need to do in our business. So tip number one is your income producing activities before the busy work. And I'm going to pass it over to Teresa for number two.
Yes. So you guys, number two, if you do not have a crock pot, go on to Amazon and get yourself a crock pot. The crock pot is your best friend. Even before I was working with Cincy, when I worked in Washington, D.C., and I was sitting in traffic for like 3 hours a day, I loved that I could come home and it felt like, our life was still moving forward because we were able to sit down as a family. We didn't have to have McDonald's. Y'all, there's nothing wrong with McDonald's every once in a while, but if you're doing McDonald's on Monday, Taco Bell on Tuesday, Popeyes on Wednesday, we've got a problem. And so you want to make sure, this business is amazing. Cincy is awesome, but make sure that you have a balance so that way nothing supersedes your life with your family. Hold on one quick second. Let me do that. Okay, got it. And so we are going to, when I post the replay tomorrow morning, if not tonight, we're going to include a link to crockpot recipes. And if your superstar director that's on this panel, if they make a post with Dreamstruck with the replay, go ahead and post your favorite crockpot links or recipes in the comments as well, because it's definitely a part of business. I remember Angie Williams spoke on our team page one time, and that's one of the tips that she had to offer as well. You can still have a healthy, quality meal with your family using that crock pot. It's a huge time saver. All right, who has number three?
That's going to be Emily.
Excellent.
That would be me. Hi, guys. So number 3 on the list is learn to say no. So we've heard this before. It's not a new concept, as you guys know, but here's what we're going to say no to. We're going to say no to comparison. That is a huge time waster. Nobody has time for it. When you're focused on your business and the things that you're doing to be successful, that's going to drive you so much further than worrying about who on the team has gotten to a promotion quicker. Remember, we all come from different backgrounds and levels of experience, so nobody's journey looks the exact same. So wasting time worrying about what someone else is doing is not going to help grow you. So we have to learn to say no to comparison. The other thing we're going to say no to is feeling less than. Just because someone has had success doesn't mean that you are not going to be successful, or that your success doesn't matter. No matter how big or small in this business, we all have something to add value. And so for that, just know that we're so proud of you. The fact that you're here tonight is a reason to celebrate. So go ahead and clap your hands, put your favorite emoji in the comments, because you're here live, taking the time to invest in you, and that's what matters. So that's awesome. So the last thing with learning to say no, we're going to say no to the things that are inauthentic to who we are. So if you're someone who is not, I think we talked about this last week, right? About different ways to sort of sponsor and meet different people. Look, if you aren't on TikTok, don't decide tomorrow that you're just going to go and start a TikTok account and fumble through trying to figure out if it's not who you are. If you want to try new things, that's different. There's nothing wrong with that. But if it's not, if it's just something that you feel it's an extra chore or task to mark off your list of things to do in your business, eventually you're going to get to a point where you experience burnout and you're going to want to let something go. And it's just, if it's not authentic to who you are as a person, just don't do it. Focus on the areas like Amber said, the income producing things and the things that bring you joy. Because when things get tough, and we know that they will, you're going to have to make sure that you can pull from those joyous parts of your business and to keep you going and move you past the hard times. So learning to say no is number 3. Now I am also covering number 4, and number 4 is reinventing the wheel. So we're not going to do that, because Sensi has incredible systems in place for us all to work our businesses. And if you lean on those systems, then you're already miles ahead of someone who perhaps is coming in and feels like they have to, as Amber said in the first one, busy themselves with things. They're there for a reason, so that you can focus on the areas of your business that matter: selling products, sponsoring new team members, and mentoring people. We have, like I said, we have lots of wonderful systems and references that we can use. Teresa said, yes, loving cinchshare and the Visly. Yes, absolutely. And again, these are tools, right? We've talked about these things. These are all things to help you be more effective in your business, so that you're not having to go back to the drawing board. And one other thing that I do as a personal tip, I reuse content. And I'm not ashamed to admit it, especially the stuff that works. My team will tell you that probably twice a year, I do something called Shooting Star Take 2 challenge. And so basically I treat everybody on our team page like they're brand new consultants, like they just started on December 1st. Let's say we're going with that date. Everybody starts brand new on December 1st. And for 15 days, the first half of the month, we literally every day for the first 15 days, I share an idea to help them grow their new business. And again, it's all content that I've posted before. I just grab it, recycle it, repost it, and I use that search feature in our team page to find those things. I use hashtags so that it's easy to find later. There is nothing wrong with that. And so just remember that these are all ideas that, were brilliant when you came up with them. So if they work, use them again. There's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, don't reinvent the wheel, use the systems you have, and that will save you a ton of time. So I'm going to pass it over to the next person who's covering point number 5. I think that might be Kelly. No,
Yeah, it's Kelly.
Can you hear me?
Okay, perfect.
I can't see anybody.
We can hear you.
Teresa, can you hear me? I can see you. Shake your head. Okay. So I have the set timers, and setting the timers is something that I have a huge habit of doing. On my calendar, which we'll probably be getting into later, I put different tasks that I need to complete that day. And I always have it in there, and I set most things for an hour. Might get done early. If I don't, that's fine. I can go back to yesterday and finish and complete what I had not completed. So this goes to my team too. I have a you can book me link where they can set up time with me. It's also a time thing, and I set those in 15-minute increments. The one thing that I also did is they have to tell me why they want to call, and I do that because then I can give them a kind of a mini assignment before we have the call. So maybe they need help in sponsoring. I can say, hey, Emily, before we have our call on Tuesday at 9 o'clock, I want you to have 5 conversations and send them to me. Because what happens a lot of the times, I think people want to just call and vent, which is totally fine too. But sometimes it is not in your time schedule to have people yell at you all day or complain. We want some problem solving solutions. So then at least you know that they're doing the work. Now at home, I add other things to my timer or my allotted time, which, you know what, it might be cleaning my bedroom. It might be cleaning the bathroom, taking something out for dinner. These are all things that could be on the list that are going to take time. Taking dinner doesn't really take time, but Teresa went over the crock pot. Putting something together in the crock pot is going to take 15 to 20 minutes. And if your time is allotted, you have a plan on what you're going to, sorry, I got distracted. So what you're actually going to cover. So I am going to mute this, but I do have number 8 coming up too.
Number 6 is Debbie.
Okay, number 6 is use time cracks. I guess I must say that I've done that a lot because for almost 13 years, I've worked Cincy along with my full-time job. And what I would do in the morning, because I had to wake up so early, I would wake up an extra 30 minutes in the morning because I knew that time was going to be really tight for me. So what I would do first thing in the morning, I would check my email. I would check my messages prior to that day, my phone messages, my texts. I would use that 30 minutes first thing in the morning to take time to do that. So in the morning, driving to work, that was the time I had to sit in the carpool line. So sitting in the carpool line, I'm taking the time out to see what I can share on Facebook, see what follow-up I need to take part in at that time. I would also post pictures of things that I would eat first thing in the morning, like breakfast. Okay, and when I got to work, I would have those periods of breaks, like 15 minutes in the morning, lunchtime, 15 in the afternoon. So I would take time out to use those time periods to use my whatever it was that I need to do, whether it's posting on Facebook, checking emails, following with customers, looking for events, whatever I had to do, I would utilize those periods. There were times that I would have to wait on my daughter at practice. So, you know, we spend a lot of time waiting. Those times that we spend waiting, like waiting at the doctor's office, waiting at getting our car service, waiting at the airport or on the airplane, in the car, at the hospital. I did this a lot, especially when my son was in the hospital. My son had surgery. He was in surgery for like 9 hours. I took time out to take my time to work my business while I was sitting there in the hospital. So we don't really realize that we really have a lot more time than we give credit for, but there's a lot of time in the day that we don't really take time out to use, but those little gaps, okay?
All right, which leads me into number 7, which is to stop multitasking. So it's actually been scientifically proven that multitasking kills brain cells. So stop. Focus on one thing at a time rather than trying to juggle 2, 3, 4, 10 things, right? You should not be working Cincy when you're cooking dinner. It will be a disaster. Trust me, I've been there. You should not be answering messages on your phone when you're actually with someone in real life because they deserve your full attention to be completely present when you're with your kids. You need to designate time that is for Cincy and time that is not for Cincy. You will find that you're getting your things done so much faster when you're solely focused on that task rather than trying to keep dinner going, and trying to help little Johnny with his homework and trying to talk to your husband and catch up from the day. Like, no, set aside, like was mentioned in the chat, a power hour. Or if you're like, oh my gosh, an hour, that's a dream. I don't have an hour. Well, that's fine. You might have 5 minutes. So set aside 5 minutes where all you're going to do is respond to messages, but don't try to do it while you're doing something else. You will mess up. You will not do it effectively or efficiently, and you will kill brain cells. It's true. It's true. So now I'm going to pass it to Kelly back in Florida. I think that's where she is. I can't keep up with her where she is, but she's going to do number. Kelly, are you there? Okay, that's all right. Let's we'll come back to Kelly.
She's there. She's there. She's just muted. Kelly,
Yes,
you gotta
I'm on
unmute.
Yeah, I'm in Florida, and there's a hurricane coming, and I'm kind of excited. So it's my first hurricane, and I'm going to go over bulk sampling. And bulk sampling is something, you guys, that I love because I love spending time with my team and doing samples in bulk. So what we do is we get together maybe a couple of times a month, and everybody kind of splits the cost, and we mass produce. It worked out really handy because I was only home yesterday and I had to send out some out-of-state parties. And instead of sending my testers, I sent the lady a bunch of samples because I didn't want my testers to get ruined in the mail and melted. And, you know, we're still kind of in that season. So I have bins that I had gotten from Target, and each bin has different items in it, and they're all labeled in a closet. Another idea that I have for my samples is the over-the-door shoe rack. And the shoes, they all hold a different type of sample. So what I did is I just grabbed a bag, and each little shoe thing has like room sprays or sample soaps or washer webs or all the new scents. I think I did the 10 new scents this year with salt samples so that they were safe for the mail. But I did not have to go home and make samples and then mail them out. It's also nice because then I can add those samples to my customers' orders. And I don't have to say, oh crap, I got to get this order out today, and now I have to go make some samples. But when you guys are making them, and you are making them in bulk, I highly recommend having a sample night with the team closest to you. It might not even be part of your team. Just put an SOS out there and be like, hey, is anybody in my area? I would love to get together with whoever's in my area. You can put it in a Sensi group somewhere, maybe your Superstar Directors group, and see who's in your area and save money. Money is a huge thing right now. And if I can do, I don't know, 400 Sensi Fresh samples and only spend $7 because 10 people split it, it's way more cost effective because let's face it, I don't need 400 Sensi Fresh samples. I only need maybe 20. And so it works out that way too. And then I know we did room sprays like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and each of us brought our own product. We each brought 3 different room sprays. And we all put our money together to get the room spray containers and the labels. And we all paid $5, I think. But because there was 10 of us and we all brought 3 different scents, we had so many different room sprays that we don't have to probably do them for the whole rest of the season. And we can put them into everybody's order.
Sorry, I love that. Bulk sampling is so empowering because then you're not like, oh crap, what am I supposed to do? Like, what do I send? I'm not ready. You just grab from those little baskets, and it is one of the most satisfying things I've ever learned in this business. Okay, cool. We are going to pass number 9 now to Miss DPP, and tip number 9 is enlist help.
Oh yes, this is like my favorite part. I have a brother. I have 2 brothers really, but one brother, my brother Jeff, he's autistic. So, and also my daughter's right now in dental school. So what I do with the 2 of them, my brother Jeff, let me tell you, he loves Sensi. So as my orders come in, he's going to break my orders down. He will label everything. I mean, everything's labeled and everything's in order. And when we work events, I work a lot of events. So Jeff is responsible for the fragrances. He's going to make sure that all the bars are in the right place. I don't even know where they are sometimes, but he will know where they are. I don't have to worry about that. Now, my daughter, what I have her doing, she keeps track of my inventory. And I also have her doing photo shoots. As you can see the background there, she does photo shoots. I'll have her to take a picture of, and people buy more when they see her in the pictures. So I have her taking pictures of all the products individually, collectively. And if she has dogs, I even have her pets in pictures. So bringing them all together has helped me with recruiting, booking parties, events, and I mean, all the things, because sometimes people will buy from me because they see Jeff helping. They just love that he is there to help them because they know that he has special needs. So yeah, my family's involved, heavily involved. They've helped me from the very beginning.
And another thing that I've done when we started talking about having enlisting help as one of our points is there was is a single, no, I'm so sorry, a stay-at-home mom. Sorry, the day is catching up to me. A stay-at-home mom in my neighborhood who loves Scentsy but couldn't afford to pay for it. And so she started helping me with things that like took a lot of time, like making samples or cutting things or whatever that were just kind of mindless that I needed to delegate to someone. So think about, what can you delegate? You're the face of your business, yes, but what can you delegate? And so I paid her in Scentsy. It was a wonderful situation because I was getting my busy work done so that I was able to do other things in my business that I really needed to focus on. And she was getting her Scentsy and not having to pay for it. So do definitely think about something like that. It was everything to me. Enlist, help, delegate, and people want to. They want to help. They want to help you, and they want to be part of something that's bigger than themselves, right? Okay, I can't believe we are already to number 10, and it is 7:21. Talk about time management. Like, we are killing it tonight. So tip number 10 is to, oh my gosh, this is cheesy, but it totally works. Screenshots. Does anyone else besides me use screenshots as their ongoing to-do list? I'm literally watching the chat because I want to feel validated that I'm not crazy. So all the time, Melissa will praise God. Yes. Okay. So you know what I'm going to say. When I caught on to this years ago, I was like, oh, this is wonderful. Because what happens is people message you, or they give you an order, or you remember a report that you need to run, or a shout out you need to do, or you see a great idea or whatever, but you're sitting on your couch or you're in your car. You're not to where you can do the thing right then. Maybe you don't have a pad of paper to actually write it down. And so I screenshot it. And then a few months after that, I realized, well, then I can edit that screenshot and I can make a little note on it. And I was like, oh my gosh, my life just got so much easier. And so I forget I have them though. Moni said, so what I do when I start my Scentsy time the next time is I start by going through my screenshots. So they're hidden on they're like mixed in with all of the other photos on your camera roll, right? But you can go to just screenshots. And that's what I do every single day is I go through my screenshots. Sometimes I'll even be out and about and someone will say, oh, hey, can you order me blah, blah, blah. Well, I'll be like, yeah, sure. Let me put it in my phone, so then I look all like professional. I'm putting it in my notes of my phone and I'm screenshotting it. So I will remember next time. But that has been such a blessing, because you can screenshot anything, but yes, you can't then forget to do something with the screenshots. And so we are here with 7 minutes left to spare. I want to invite any of the other panelists to just jump in, because we had so many other ideas. And so let's toss out some more time management tips. And everyone else in the chat, like, we want to see them. We want to see your crock pot recipes. I think that's been the most popular thing in the chat. Everyone is like, yes, please, I need crock pot recipes. So let's go. Let's
everybody's got to eat, right? Like, I mean, caring is caring. And when that pot is big to choose from, everybody can pull out what they want. One thing that I've done a lot lately, and I mean, I can't speak for everyone. However, I am very forgetful. Like, it's to the point my husband's almost convinced I have early onset Alzheimer's at 33 years old. And so he's constantly making fun of me for it. And so same as Amber, like with the screenshots, I'm constantly telling Siri, I'm not sure if Android phones can do it too, but I'm constantly saying, hey, set a reminder, remind me in an hour that I have to do this. And what happens is that reminder keeps popping up on my home screen on my phone until I physically go in and tap that I've done the reminder. Because just to set it is one thing, but I really realized that once I was using it regularly, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Even if I forget all day long, that reminder keeps popping up to the top of my home screen to remind me like, hey, you told me to set a reminder. You haven't done it yet. You haven't done it. I'm doing it for my lash appointments. I'm doing it. I've had to remind myself to pick the kids up from school. And I know that sounds crazy, but when you're off for 2.5 months, you're out of the routine, right? So there's been times where I get so busy, wrapped up doing something in my office that I look at the time and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to go get my kids. So, I set reminders for that. I set reminders to make a delivery or to take things to the post office. So, utilize your tech that you're holding in your hand, carrying around with you every single day, use all of its features. And I only just started using the reminders recently. So I love it.
So one of the things that I do is, and if you're in the chat, please drop a number 1 if you do this too, but I text myself. I have a full-blown conversation with myself throughout the whole day. It could be work related. Someone's like, oh my gosh, I love this blueberry cheesecake, put 6 more, and I'll text myself to remind me. And then I just go through that one thread and I see all my text messages. It could be something random, not even Cincy, like, hey, I want to find Chloe, Shannon, Kristen. I'll put that link in my, I'll text it to me. So throughout the day, I'm texting myself, or I could come across a crockpot recipe. You know how sometimes you're scrolling, like when we all get off the Dreamstruck, we're going to have all these crockpot recipes from Facebook because we talked about it tonight. One of the things I wanted to do, since we just have a couple more minutes left, I saw a lot of comments in the chat about apps that people are using. There are so many apps out there, but what is the right app? What I want to ask you, if you are one of the people that put an app that you use in the chat, could you unmute yourself and maybe for 5 seconds, just tell us the name of the app and what you use it for? And then if everyone else wants to kind of write that down, then you can research it tonight or tomorrow to see what floats your boat. I know I saw Dennis, I saw Heather, and a few others. If you don't mind unmuting yourself and just telling us what app you use.
I could go first.
Okay, thank you, Dennis.
I use cinchshare. It's a monthly service that I use to do my posting. I schedule my posts. I am in a lot of events online that I schedule posts the day before. It's really easy. It is about $10 per month. It's worth it because it saves all your posts. It saves all your posts. So you could always go back and say, ooh, you know what? Nightmare Before Christmas. You could go back to that post. It has everything, the pictures and everything that you posted for that particular item saved. It is $10 a month and it's called cinchshare. CINCHSHARE.
I love that, recycling content.
Yes.
Love it.
All right.
I want to say Heather said she was having trouble unmuting herself, but she said Project Broadcast and Visly, which of course we've talked about Project Broadcast before. Visly is a very similar program app to Project Broadcast. Those are also good. Oh, someone else said Jotform. Yes, absolutely. Yep, that's a good one.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then Heather also said Structured app. I've not heard of that yet. I know that there's when I was flying somewhere on an incentive trip, I was listening to something and they were saying that to-do list or to-do list, I think, is another app. I'm a list person, so I love checking things off. It makes me feel productive. And then also Facebook has its own built-in app where you can schedule posts. And if you don't know any of these things, I know it's easy to go on the team page and say, show me how to use Project Broadcast or show me how to use cinchshare. Just Google. Google is your best friend. That's how most of us learn. And then YouTube. Sometimes I like to go for the 2-minute YouTube videos to teach me how to use, some of these applications. Notes, if you have an iPhone, then you have a Notes app. I use that, and there's a little bubble that you can kind of check off, and you can even highlight in there as well. But I definitely love seeing my progress throughout the day.
Amanda's got her hand up too.
Amanda said the Cam app makes posts. Oh, wow. So there's a lot of apps that make posts now.
Amanda, did you want to share something? We'd love to hear from you.
Sure. I hope y'all can hear me okay. I'm driving. So I have used this app for like at least 8 years now, and it's called Cozy, COZI. And I love it for multiple reasons because I'm a special needs mom with a lot of appointments. So it syncs not only to my phone, but my husband's. So if you want to sync it up to somebody else's, if y'all have a lot going on, there's an option to set reminders for anything. You can schedule anything and set reminders. It really helps you see, you can color code things. So maybe if you have Scentsy for like purple for Scentsy, blue for yourself or whatever, you can color code it. But also there's to-do list in there within that thing. So I do my grocery list, my Scentsy list, my household to-do list. So you can have all of that right there. It's completely free. I did the paid version and I hated it. So honestly, I feel like the free version is amazing, but I love to, if you have a spouse or someone and y'all need to see kind of what each other has going on for scheduling purposes, it's great because it syncs up to both. So if I'm doing a vendor event, Chris already knows not to schedule anything that day, right? Because he has to help with the kids. So it's just things like that. Like there's so much, probably more that app can do. There's recipes, all kinds of stuff in there too. But yeah, it's amazing. So I just wanted to share that.
Awesome.
Yes, this has been awesome tonight. Go ahead, Teresa. Sorry.
No, go right ahead. I was just telling Amanda, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, because anytime we can keep our hubbies on the same page is a win. Yes.
Yes.
Well, we know that we're a couple of minutes over and we want to be respectful of your time, considering time management tonight. But I really think that tonight was very empowering. I hope you guys feel empowered. Go back to your team pages, go back to your chats, wherever you talk Scentsy with your people, and start bouncing around some more ideas, because you're busy, I'm busy, she's busy, he's busy, everyone is busy. But where there's a will, there's a way. If it were easy, everyone would do it, but you are strong, you are powerful, and you can do it. So feel empowered, go forth, squeeze every ounce out of your time, but also remember to take time for yourself. And we believe in you, and we're always here for you. So until next week, we'll see you guys later. Bye.
Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.